everyone. In this video I will be talking about a variety of ways that domino fields can be toppled. Domino fields are one of the most popular domino techniques as they can be used to create an image of virtually anything. Since they are so common, it is nice for them to be knocked down in a variety of ways. This video is intended to be useful to beginners, but can also be used by anyone who is looking for unique ways to topple domino fields. Also, for all 8 of these techniques, there are variations other than the ones I discussed, so you can get creative while building. Okay, so this first one is using an object wider than a domino to topple multiple rows of dominoes at once. So as you can see here, I'm using different types of blocks. People typically just use the same type of block, but I used 2 types just to give examples. I'm making dominoes knock over these Kappa style blocks, and I'm also making a domino line knock over this other type of block. And you also just have to make sure the dominoes are actually able to topple the blocks. And as you can see, here, I rested one of these blocks. I made it kind of tipping off a stack of dominoes to make sure the dominoes would actually be strong enough to knock it over. Okay, so the second one is making a line with angled dominoes coming off of it, and the angled dominoes are what knock over each of the rows. And this trick is pretty nice because it's not very precarious to build, and it only requires dominoes. And so you place the angled dominoes first. If you won't be able to reach where they're supposed to go, and then you build a domino that knocks into each of the angled ones. And then, in between each of these, instances of angled dominoes with a domino hitting them, you place dominoes to make sure that it will be all connected. And then you just keep doing the same thing for all the rest of the rows of the field. So if you don't know, a crossing field is a field where the rows of it go in opposite directions, and when they do so, they form the image after the field has actually fallen, instead of the image actually being visible before the field topples. So how you make it is you have to offset the rows. So for this simple type of crossing field, you can do it like this by making the field starter with angled dominoes coming off on both sides of the field. Or you can do it like the first technique I showed where you use a wider object. You can offset groups of rows instead of just singular rows. Normally you'd see an image forming when a crossing field falls, but this is just a demonstration. So, for this one, it's also a crossing field, but instead of the crossing field falling pretty much simultaneously, this one, it follows by the lines going back and forth in order to form the image. And an important thing to consider when making this type of crossing field is the way, or the direction that you topple it. See, the field is going it's starting here and going this way, and then this way, and then this way. Okay, so I feel like it's also necessary for me to give a tutorial on the one with just a single row. Just single rows going back and forth, and it's very different. So, while you're making the crossing field, it still has to be offset, but you should you should make it offset and then fill in the spots where it's offset, like as you can see how I did so with the orange dominoes. These lines are so close together that you can't just have like a curve of dominoes or a direction changer. So you have to do like this tape direction changer here in order to make it work. After you make this tape direction changer, then you just have to place it and make sure it's knocking over the rows in the correct direction. You might need to add an extra domino in order to connect everything. So for this one, walls and 3D structures work best. And the thing is, you don't want the structure to be too short, such as a 3D pyramid is on the side, because if it's like that, it won't topple the rows of the field. And you also don't want it to be too tall, because if it's too tall, dominoes will go everywhere, and they might like hit a row of the field backwards and just mess it up, and you don't want that. You should also make the structure first. Okay, so I didn't explain this part of method number 5 very well while I was building, so I'm just going to explain it now. So when making the field, you should make an empty part of the field with no image on it next to the structure. This is because the structure will fall onto the field, or will fall into the part of the field next to it when you're knocking it down, and you don't want it to cover up the image on the field when it does so. So the field starter goes one way, knocks down every other row, and then comes back the other direction and knocks down the remaining rows. So here you can see I have just, well, I guess it could be rows or sections. Like I have sections of 3 rows. So here it knocks down this section, then skips this one, knocks down this section, and then there's going to be a line that comes back through and knocks down the rest of the sections. Okay, now you can see I have a line coming back the other direction to knock over the remaining sections of the field. So in order to do that, you need a crossover technique. I'm not sure if, like, everyone else would call this technique an upward sonimod, but I think that's the best way to describe it. So basically, what you're doing is so pretend this orange domino right here is the start of one of the rows of the field. So you'll have a line going across all the rows of the field, and then for each domino that's the start of the field, there'll be a domino resting on top of it and the line. And then when the line comes, it will make this domino lose support, and then this domino will fall onto the first domino in the row, knock the row over. And if while you're placing the dominoes here, if you see that if there's like a big gap between your rows and it seems like the domino is going to fall into that, just like tilt the domino a bit over to the side. So you're going to want to make this incline mechanism that knocks over the field before you actually make the field, so you don't risk knocking over the field while building this. I should also mention that the incline should be slightly elevated at the bottom, so it's easier for the sliding dominoes to knock over the field starter, and the incline should be supported by like 2 things at the bottom to prevent it from sliding. Okay, and then after that, then you just make lines of dominoes topple off onto the incline, and then you should probably make sure that there's 3 dominoes, that there's like at least 3 dominoes per field starter falling to make sure that there is enough force to knock the field starters over. And then all you have left to do is just to make the field. So that is going to be it for this video. I'm not very experienced with my tutorials, so I had some trouble being concise with some of my explanations. Also, let me know in the comments if there's anything in this tutorial you want clarified better, and if there's any tutorials you'd like me to make. Thanks for watching.